in case we go south.
This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon.
Short, sweet, to the point.
That's what we do.
Love it, Trent. You even had like that little This Week in Real Estate.
This week in real estate.
Just a little.
How are you going to follow that?
You may have a career in this, buddy.
Thanks, John.
So, welcome to This Week in Real Estate, the very first episode of 2023. Happy
Wow.
New Year to you guys.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, it was good. It happened, and the clock ticked over, and
Here we are.
Here we are.
Jinx.
Here we are. So, first episode of This Week in Real Estate in 2023, and I cannot even begin to imagine a better guest than Mr. Murfreesboro himself, Mr. Bill Wilson,
Hey.
and his new sidekick for his radio show, Kelsie. And I never caught your last name.
Williams. I almost said the wrong one.
Is that with the hyphen?
We had this conversation. So Kelsie Williams, good to meet you. We met once before, but good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And you guys are here because y'all have a show on WGNS, and it's Sunday at
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. What do you talk about during your show?
We talk about all the things that everyone's scared to talk about.
Ooh,
It's
Yeah,
real
we do.
do that on
scandalous.
Tuesday afternoon.
Scandalous.
Yeah, like
We-
what?
Well, we did. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we did the thing about the VA golf
I
course
knew you were going to say that. I
shutting
knew it.
down, which is a tragedy because I had my only hole in one was on hole number 6 or 7. Yeah, no, I had
Was
witnesses.
anybody there?
Trey Randolph and his little girlfriend were there, and the first people I called were my brothers and John Jones, and none of them believed me, but I did. It came out in the paper. I've got a little thing in the D&J where you got a hole in one. I think they put your name up in the trailer, which is their clubhouse. But growing up here, man, you would go to the VA. Everybody has a story about the VA golf course
Yeah.
because that's where people learn to play, kick the ball around. And I can remember
Falling
shoot,
potholes.
Oh, yeah. We would give the veterans like a $5 bill, and they would caddy for us from time to time. And I think it's a great thing they're doing. They're talking about making it a homeless shelter, but there's a lot of buildings at the VA
Mhm.
that could be used for homeless shelters. And it all goes back to the city of Murfreesboro would like more than 1 or 2 year contract or lease. It's a lease. The federal government owns it. The city kind of maintains it, and they're claiming
You are correct when you say kind of maintains it.
yeah. Well, there's like they said there's going to be like a $2 million maintenance fee. To me, all that golf course needs is water, maybe grass seed fertilizer, mow it every once in a while. I mean, it's the VA golf course.
It's what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
Let-
it doesn't need to look like Old Fort, does it?
I just hope Republic's not trying to move, you know what I mean?
You never know.
We're supposed to have him on the show, the head of the Republic. That'll be a good show, though.
Ooh, we need to make sure that's broadcast from an undisclosed location.
Yeah, make it. But we've had all sorts of people.
Yeah. Anything of Murfreesboro local interest, and really Middle Tennessee
Yeah,
interest.
we had a guy, Colin Snyder was on. He played baseball at Riverdale, and he's also playing for the Kansas City Royals. He's a pitcher. He came on the show not too long ago.
Mhm.
They did a show a few weeks ago on music
The Murfreesboro
scene.
music scene and how it's
Yeah.
changed and where it's going.
with the amphitheater coming.
Mhm.
That's a
You
whole
didn't
nother-
include Cedar Glade on that. We have
Mhm.
music here every Friday and Saturday.
Oh
Well,
man,
now we know that.
We had
right?
10 artists this past Friday night.
see that's
It was,
amazing.
it was our birthday party.
I love
Well,
it.
happy birthday.
Thank you.
Y'all also started a spades tournament, and I wanted to come to that last week because that brings back memories of me playing spades. No, not in jail, but it was the spades. It was I love spades.
I do too.
Did you ever play spades?
Now I never got into card games.
Hearts,
I like dice. I like gambling.
Dice.
I like
poker.
blackjack.
You like
Roulette.
poker?
Yeah.
One arm bandit.
No.
No. Okay.
No, not the slot machine.
Well, you
Gotcha.
know, going back to the music thing, the amphitheater's coming here, and I think I'm all for that. I just
Me
don't
too.
think it should go where it's going. That's my personal
Okay.
opinion.
See, I disagree. I
Iffy.
think it's a great spot.
You think it's
I do.
because of the what's the one in downtown Nashville?
Mm-hmm.
It's downtown Nashville. I think the only drawback, the one here, is going to be the traffic, which they're going to alleviate probably with the widening of the roads, which they should have done a long time ago.
And weren't they talking about cutting another back road over to
Another road.
Robert Rose?
Yeah,
Going that
I
direction.
think so.
Yeah. So my biggest concern with that amphitheater, I think it's a fantastic idea, and I think it's a great location, honestly, as long as they manage they do put that other outlet
Traffic.
and they do what they're
The
talking
logistics.
about. My thing is, I don't know that it's big enough, because think about it. It's what, 3,500 seats in the amphitheater and 1,100 in the inside venue.
Yeah.
So what artist that would be a draw is going to come play that? And they're talking about 42 shows a year or whatever it is. It's almost too small.
So another thing is, you're thinking Bridgestone or the other amphitheater.
Yeah.
What's it called? Ascend.
So Bridgestone seats what, 16, 17,000?
A lot.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And Ascend is like 5,500, somewhere around there. And you've seen a move back to even stadium shows. Think about how many stadium shows we've had and are have scheduled in the Titan Stadium at this point. We didn't have that for a long, long time.
Nope.
And Starwood was what, 8,000 or 9,000 is what it's at.
Yeah, you could never count people
Mm-mm.
like me way up at the top of the hill.
Right, exactly.
Rolling down the
knows?
hill.
Yeah.
Rolling down the
Sometimes, occasionally, setting fires on it. That happened.
Well, it used to be Murphy Center was the place they had
Mhm.
concerts. They had, and I hate to give my age away, but I saw Elvis there in 1975. I was 9 years old.
I was -4.
I was 9. He did give me a scarf. No, I'm kidding. He didn't give me a scarf, but
You had to earn those bills, so I don't know that I'd brag about that.
yeah, I
one.
know. I ain't gonna brag. Hey, a lot of people don't realize Jimi Hendrix came to play in Murfreesboro at it was either El Dorado Club or the Cadillac Club.
I
The
love
building's
that
still there on
story.
Asbury Road.
Mhm.
There's a building still there. If you take a left off Old National and Asbury, go about 0.2 of a mile, look back on your right. There's a building that's covered in weeds and ivy and stuff. Hendrix used to come and play there on the weekend.
No way.
That's the truth.
Let's buy that and turn it into like a
The Hendrix Club,
Jimi
the
Hendrix
Jimi
Museum.
Hendrix Museum or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
but there's been a lot of Elvis used to come here where Boxwood Plantation is, where Brother McCullough used to live next door to the Methodist Church. What is that Methodist church that's go on past World Outreach, going out to Salem Fellowship?
Mm-hmm.
The Boxwood house is right next door. It was built in the 1830s or 40s or something. There's a pool house over there. They used to be a recording studio that Elvis would come to and hang out and do some recording.
Interesting.
And there was what was his name? A guy named Perryman who I think he's on WGNS, but he had a connection with Elvis, with Colonel Tom Parker. And they would come, Elvis would come out and he would record there. It's a pool house, but in high school, I dated a girl and her best friend dated Brother McCullough. We double dated a lot. We used to stay out there a lot. So it's pretty interesting to think that megastars have been
Well,
here.
see, I like the idea of it being big enough, but still a little bit small, so you can get that up and coming artists, because
Sure.
that's what even Nashville used to be. It was like you want
100%.
to be able to say, I saw them before they got
Before they're
huge.
big, yeah.
But then you wonder the sustainability of that
Yeah.
model, right? And especially 40 some odd shows a year. I mean, it's a lot.
That's a
Mhm.
lot of
Shows.
cars. That's a lot of things. And, the people over at the hospital may not like it, but if, there's only 2 reasons you go to the hospital: to get better or to die. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're
Some
laid
would
up,
argue it's getting better.
I preferably want to get better, but, just
You don't
Open up the-
necessarily get to pick.
open up the curtain. There's ELO or whoever's playing there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I like it. And I actually, there's a lot of folks that aren't fans of this fire pit for sale thing.
$280K, baby.
Dude, I think that is
What? I missed this.
brilliant.
Explain that.
So they've got, was it 36 or 38 fire pit suites, and you can buy one, and it's
Oh.
around
Seats 8 or 10.
I think it's
Or is it
8.
8.
And it's just like you said, it's 280 or whatever, just under 300K, but you own a piece of the
theater and
facility.
you own
Yeah.
it. And you've got tickets. So, if you're a music lover and you've got some money, that's a pretty sweet,
Yeah.
no pun intended, deal.
Yeah, that is. But how many people do we know that have 280K? I mean, I know people. I mean, I don't have it, but y'all might have it.
So we got to come up with 6 other friends that have it, Bill, and then we got it.
Mhm.
Then we got our
It's-
suite.
That's the key, is to be friends with all the wealthy people.
It's not who you know.
Not
it's
even
who
all of them.
know
You
that
really
they
just need
know.
one.
Just one. Yeah. But I think it's a great thing. But 280,000, that's a lot of cheese, man.
Yeah, but if it's a permanent ownership,
Then you have to re-up every year though, like
no, that's it.
PSLs or anything?
It's yours.
Oh.
That's how I understand it. I
It's
may
like
be
a
wrong.
promissory note. They're doing it over a 30-year thing, and they're getting all their money up front to pay for the things down the road.
The question that the real leap of faith is, will that place be there in 5 years?
Yeah.
And having seen Starwood get bulldozed and never,
It's still
and it's still a hole in the
It's your
ground.
ground, yeah.
You just wonder, you wonder. So I don't know.
My thoughts were take the amphitheater, that sports complex from Arizona that was supposed to go in on the old Horde property between Murfreesboro and Smyrna, right off the 840 exit. Take the amphitheater, put it there. It's right off 840.
I know. See, that's our.
You draw from Franklin. You draw from.
There's growth opportunities there.
Yeah, well,
yeah, but
less headache.
There's something about having it in the middle of town. I don't know. I'm a fan of that.
You like to fish? You could go down and fish after.
Well,
Right.
it's 0.8 of a mile or 0.6 of a mile from Cedar Glade Brews. So if you need to
Okay.
pregame
Wow.
somewhere,
I
just
got
throwing
you.
that out there.
Well, it's only about 2 miles that way.
Yeah, well, that's 1.4 miles longer.
Quick math.
But that was that whole sports complex. I don't know how that happened. They're from Arizona, and apparently the one in Arizona
It's not
doing too good. So therefore, I just feel like as a realtor, if you're a realtor, we're realtors, it's like you vet people. In this last year, you can pretty much bet on your bet that it's probably somebody coming from California that's buying. If it's residential, they're usually going to pay cash. But we have to vet people too, right? I want to know, why didn't they vet the people in Arizona? What's your
here's the
thoughts
thing,
on that?
Phil, and I'm glad you said that, because this is a real estate podcast, and we have not yet talked about real estate.
I'm bringing this around. I'm asking the
Great
question.
You did a good job.
I'm
man.
asking the question.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh,
You want to take over?
All right,
I'll come back and-
It's called the Chicago turnaround.
So, that this year specifically, we saw a huge shift happen right before our eyes. The month of November, I don't know if you saw this number, but the month of November 2022 had 41% fewer closings than the month of November 2021.
Right.
So in 1 year, we dropped 41% in the volume of closings, not the dollar amounts necessarily, but the actual number. So you've got a whole lot of people that their income tanked. J. Harmon Home Team did substantially fewer transactions.
I did too.
For the fourth quarter this year than we did fourth quarter last year, and in the third quarter this year. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, as this happens, we've all been saying that there's a recession on the way. Did we see that? Did we know that there was a recession coming this quickly last year when they started doing all the legwork to make that? There's probably some people that are like, oh, it's going to happen.
Interest rate. There's a lot of stuff that caused it. I mean, interest rates. When I started in 2000, interest rate was hovering between 8 and 9%.
Mm-hmm.
What are credit cards today? They could be 10% to 20, depending on what your credit score is. But anyway, back then, let's look at 2007, 2008, all the way to about 2012 when it really tanked. I don't think we'll ever go back there. If we do,
God help us.
God help us all. God,
No doubt.
I'm going down to Whippins and I'm going to be a greeter. And that's another story. Well, I'm saying 2008 times got hard. I did go down to the Murfreesboro Funeral Home and I talked to the lady. I was like, I need a job. I think I could be a good greeter. And she goes, Bill, yeah, you've got the job. She goes, I go, what do you want me to do? She goes, go pick up the bodies. I said, ma'am, I went back to the office and sold 3 houses that afternoon. I said, I'm not doing this.
That's funny.
But I don't know.
Well, to me, it's like the Mr. Rogers effect, right? I mean, really, Mr. Rogers, it's pretend. I mean, you have to kind of separate what is actually happening versus what's still the same. Now, people may be more timid to buy houses right now, but we're still growing like gangbusters. Where is Murfreesboro right now?
We're
nationally ranked for
number one.
I've
Depending on
seen
which
number
source, one or three.
on some things. So there's still the want, the need, the desire, the product. Nothing of that's changed. It's just people's mindsets, right?
Well,
in response to
yes. And so here's where that happens is interest rates went bananas, in what April, May, whatever it was.
Boom.
And I mean, they basically skipped the 4s. You went from the 3s to the 5s, and then they kept going, and we're sitting at 7 right now, which what you just wrote down right there is not a historically high interest rate. But when you look back, I mean, 2 years ago, I refinanced down into the ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
They're
that's
giving money away.
That's as close to free money as you will
Good
ever
job.
see. Right.
Yeah.
So 7% right now hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, when those rates were so low, prices reacted as they do.
Right.
Pure economics happens. That's what's going to happen.
Right.
When money is
Self-correction and
when money is basically free, the demand is basically infinite.
When
Right.
they quit moving dirt, you'll know we're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually, if you hear you hear dirt being moved, it's a good thing.
And that's what's crazy is right now there's a lot of dirt being moved
Mhm.
because everybody is looking at this as a temporary situation.
and they know where it's going. It's
And the Fed has talked about what they're doing with rates. The market is reacting to that. Everybody's saying, third quarter or so of I was going to say next year, this year.
Right.
Now, we're going to see those rates come back down. Will they ever get down to the 1s and 2s? Probably not.
No.
But 3s and 4s,
Possible.
Possibly.
You can also buy the rate down
you can.
a couple points. I mean, it's going to cost money, but you're not going to get down to the 3 or 4% probably. But
well, and that's the thing. The property's there, the value is there. None of that's changed. That's still just going to skyrocket.
Right.
There, at some point, the dirt is going to stop moving. So by now, it does not matter about the rate. I mean, it does, but
Well,
doesn't.
and here's the thing: is swiftly people are reacting. So, do you know David Estes?
I do very well.
Super guy, brilliant
Builder.
great guy.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
a great guy.
Great guy. So he posted something the other day, and he was showing inventory levels. And for the first time in I don't even know how long, inventory wise, we're at an even market. So there's enough houses that have listed and few enough that have closed that for the first time, I mean, it's probably been 5, maybe even 6 years
Wow.
since we've been at an even market. Now, what that means on price is it doesn't move. It's just
Stays the
stagnant.
same. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Doesn't go up, doesn't come down. Right. So we're stale, right, on the price. But what it means for sellers and buyers on a practical level, and you might see some price drop off, but what it really means is we got to start negotiating again.
Because
Right.
they're on equal footing.
Neither
There's
one is
no-
in the driver's seat.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's it.
That's right.
Mhm.
Well,
it.
let's say last year we were selling homes, 50,000 over. People weren't getting inspections.
In 6 hours, no appraisal.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's insane.
And that's not normal, y'all.
No.
It's not normal.
No.
So we're back at something that's normal. And you look at, I got started in 09 and 10 and 11. The buyer was 100% in the driver's seat. The
Yeah.
seller was just like, what do you want? You
Yeah.
can have whatever you want. I
Name
just
it.
got to get rid of this house.
Right.
And then it flipped. We had a little tiny window of somewhat even, but it moved very quickly towards
Right.
seller market to where last year we kind of peaked where, I mean, like you said, the seller saying, here's my house. If you want it,
Take.
You got to
Yeah.
sign here right now and go.
exactly. I saw a meme. I think Leanne Bedsole posted it. If I remember correctly, she's hilarious.
She's funny.
And
You
it-
don't know
she was
her,
my-
do you?
She was I was her prom date in high school.
I think he
I
needs to
love
wear it
Leanne.
as
She's
a
like
tag.
she's like my sister.
she's hilarious.
I love her.
But she posted a meme one time that said, I don't remember exactly, so it won't be nearly as funny, but basically the buyer's agent sent a blank contract to the seller's agent.
It
It was
said fill
like,
it out.
we need this house. You fill whatever you need.
Well, I'm sure.
And that's what it felt like.
Mhm.
That's what it felt like.
exactly. That's the way it was. Well, also realtors. I was out at MTAR, was going to pay my dues, but I think I'll wait to the day before they get on to you.
It's
I'm
better.
just
I was gonna say you're already late, dude. You're 2 days late right
Am
now.
I?
Yeah.
We have till like the 13th. or
You
Oh, I
something.
thought it was by the new year.
Nah,
You like the
see, you gotta have
attention.
connections. You gotta have connections, dude. You gotta hold on, let it draw interest, right? So, anyway, when I started, there was about 700 agents at MTAR. How many do you
Mhm.
think there are now?
I'm going to guess 2,800.
No, it's like 24, 25.
I was pretty close, though.
But
I taught a lot of
how
them, Bill. I
many-
taught them contracts.
you did?
Yeah, I had full
You gra-
classes for the last 4 years in there
I need to take
for
your
all
class.
the orientation classes.
First of all, I got to sell something. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, they, but you know what? Between, let's say 2008 till now, maybe in 2008, there was 1,700. So there's a bunch of agents out there, newer agents who
Mhm.
saw all this money, and a lot of them are their husband or wife or whoever, significant other. They've got a good job. Well, I want to get in here and
Try it out.
try it out the American way, which is, hey, more
good.
power to.
Mhm.
But you know this as well as I do. It's about building relationships and knowing
Mhm.
people, your appraisers. I mean, you go into a deal. It's important on the other side that agent knows the business, whether it's an appraiser, inspectors, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And the motive is not just to get money. It's just you want to build a clientele.
Well, and I've always approached it, and I think you probably do too, is that the money is a secondary, like your income is a secondary aspect of the job.
Right. You're
Right.
helping others. Yeah.
Well, with something that's complicated, with something that you got to have insight, with something you got to stay plugged into, with something you've got to build your quiver all the time and have different arrows in there. And if you do a good job and you take care of people and you do the right thing, then the income follows.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
What-
Referrals.
What I hate to see in a town, in an area like ours, is when that pendulum swings like it swung back,
Yeah.
you get all these newbies and you get all these people that are like, I mean, not having to do as much, not even having to know as much. And
Sure.
they didn't get that experience. And so, real estate agents kind of get a bad rap, I
do.
think.
well, not only that, but and I'm not complaining, but it is a fact that when you have a massive insurge of new agents, the existing agents start losing one at a time, kind of things. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I was going to list with you, but my cousin's nephew just
Mhm.
Right
Mhm.
on.
got his
Mhm.
license, and Thanksgiving dinner is going to taste funny without him, without me listing with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
But people don't realize their house is their biggest investment, more than likely.
Yeah.
And you need somebody you like, you trust,
Mhm.
and somebody who knows the business.
Well, what do y'all think about the future of real estate and even mortgage for that matter, with everything I mean, we all know the importance of using local people that know other local people. I mean, how many deals do you get done because you can go, hey,
I need to
I know.
call.
yeah,
So and so.
but how, what's the lifespan? Where do you see that going with the threat of all the internet and all of the big companies coming in?
I don't think
and-
that's our biggest threat. I really don't. And I think that we've seen it, obviously. There's some situations where, people will go that route because they picture it as easier. We've also
Mhm.
seen some of that fall apart. I mean, Zillow's home buying, they flat out said
They're
that
gone.
they don't know how to price houses correctly in order. I mean, that's why they closed, because they
Right.
were sitting on all these houses they overpaid
Mhm.
for.
Say Gary Ashton, he was big into Zillow, wasn't he?
Still is, I think.
That was his big cup of tea.
And so I don't think that there is a way to substitute local knowledge, on the ground knowledge, with an algorithm.
Yeah.
Like it's just not something that you do, because some of it is, I mean, let's be honest, some of it is, well, I feel like this house is different from this house. Square footage is the same, the builder's the same, the outside finishes are the same, but this location pulls more than this one.
Mhm.
And it
Mhm.
might even be the same school zone, but for whatever reason, because we don't know the reason, this chunk of this neighborhood is more desirable than this chunk. I look
Right.
at Berkshire.
Yeah.
Berkshire, you drive through it, there's parts of Berkshire that are quote unquote better
Mhm.
than other parts of
Mhm.
Berkshire, even though the houses look just about the same.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. Because in the front of Berkshire, you have a little bit smaller homes. I think there's some like maybe townhomes or something, but you can cut through Berkshire to get to the other side. But
Mhm.
you're exactly right about the bigger
But you
houses.
But you can't know that in an
No.
algorithm, because if it says Berkshire and the square footage is the same, it's the same, right?
It's been,
but it's not the same.
it's not like that. What was that movie? Field of Dreams. Build it and they will come. Right. It's kind of been like that in the last 5 or 6 years. Most realtors, and I didn't say all, most have been order takers. If you're building a home, you're just drawing out the contract. Usually, and I'll tell you, I'll give a shout out to Old South. They've always been good to me and good to my clients. And
I'm a fan of them as well.
I'm a big fan of
Not
John
everybody
Ford.
is, but they build a good
They
product.
I've
I
lived
mean,
in
I
those.
like them.
She was married to him at one time. But anyway,
Not John.
not John, but David. But you go out there. Those guys and gals have been building those homes for the last 35 years or 30 years, however long. They could build those floor plans blindfolded because they have a group, they have synergy. They go in there. It's a system. It's all about systems, and you get a system down and you go with it. But they back up from my experience, because I've lived in their homes too. They've always taken care of me and the clients I have. I've always been able to get on the phone. Hey, there's frozen pipes or whatever. You need to call so-and-so. They've always taken care.
Yeah.
But they,
What's interesting to me is you could almost look at Old South or John himself. I mean, if he's been the city planner for about 20 years, I mean, honestly, because wherever he puts a subdivision, wherever there come the schools, there
comes the Publix, the Kroger,
all of that. And so
that's a good point.
I mean, it's interesting. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
That's right. But people get mad. It's like, oh, all these houses. The only people that we've talked about this before, that people that you get on Facebook, you got people, there's different pages out there. And I don't let a lot of banner go on my page. It's just all about history, nostalgia. And but people get on there and they
cool
start
pictures.
And cool pictures. G-rated. They are but
he gets
anyway,
all the other ones off.
No. They the
it's
thing
funny
is
that he had to throw that caveat out there, though, isn't it?
I don't know what you're talking about. But the thing is that people complain about this area are the ones that have moved here the last 10 years or so. They're the ones, oh, we got too much strike. Oh, the Methodist Church, they're tearing up this. And I sit on the board for the Historical Society. I love history.
You've been picking on Methodists a lot today.
Or what about Presbyterian? They're the frozen chosen, right? All my Presbyterian friends.
My friend John Hinkle over there.
I know John, and I'm actually showing a church today to Martha Touchton, who is a preacher at the First United Methodist, which is the big Methodist. St. Mark's is the big one by Siegel. That used to be downtown, the old 1880. That's where I went to kindergarten. I think they should put a hotel there. I wish they had put a hotel, because at one time Murfreesboro had 4 hotels. You had the James K. Polk, where Pinnacle Bank or SunTrust Bank is. You had the Haynes Hotel, where Miller and Lowry is. It was a real big hotel. You had the Jordan Hotel, which was across from City Cafe. And then there was the Periscope Hotel, which still stands today. It was there during the Civil War. So at one time we had 4 hotels. And you know what's an interesting fact is that when the interstate came through, I can remember when there was no interstate. So speak up. Could you tell me something?
No kidding.
In the
I've
70s,
noticed some dust falling off of you there.
But the people downtown did not want the interstate interchanges to come downtown, because they thought it was going to take business away
From the downtown.
Isn't that wild?
Yep. And now we're trying to get people downtown. Yeah.
I love that.
All right. So what do you think? What's this year going to look like in real estate? Let's predict on January 2nd.
I think it's going to be slow. It's going to be like pretty much, if you survive 2008 to 2005, whatever, 12, 13, you're going to be fine. I mean, I don't think it's going to go back there. I think, like you already said, the interest rates will probably start going down a little bit. I think springtime is going to pick up. May not pick up as much, but it's still going to pick up. Right now, if you've been in real estate any length of time, from Halloween, the end of October, you see all these holidays, to about the Ides of March.
Yeah. Whatever the first warm day is, right?
That's when it really picks up. But people are still building. I mean, you've got that Riverview Cove. I never thought there'd be, besides like, what is that, Marabella.
$1 million houses.
John, Jughead, what's up, buddy? They're building homes in Riverview Cove, I think it's the old Nelson farm off of Haynes Drive. You get a chance, drive back there. It's pretty cool.
I did. I went back there a couple
Those
weeks
are $1
ago.
million homes, man. Now, and realistically, they're probably about $700,000
That's
home.
exactly what
they're
I
not,
was thinking.
They're about 700. They're not a million.
I know.
You know,
But
everybody's
they
got to
are.
get their cheese.
So when you're talking to somebody that's thinking about selling right now, what are you telling them? What's your advice to them?
I still tell them it's more or less the market has. It's not the expectation is don't expect multiple offers. It's going to take a while as long as the house is priced right. It's all about pricing it right.
Always is.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Location.
What are you telling buyers right now?
It's a good time to buy. I mean, it's nothing like where you were competing. You're not going to be competing like you were where they, like you were just saying, just hand them the contract, just settle it and fill it out. They got a good opportunity to buy and also buy their rate down. I mean, it's unrealistic to think you've got a 3%. That's still, I don't know how we got there, but we did.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still a drove of people coming here from California. I think if you had a satellite image looking down at the United States,
Like the
in-
traffic.
there,
and the
well, there'd be a
moves.
trail. Like if it was still wagons
They'd be coming back the other
from
way.
California to Middle Tennessee, there's a huge indention in the earth.
I think a lot of them flew, Bill.
I'm just saying. I'm a history guy, man. I'm a history guy.
So what's the
They did flip.
average? What's the average age here for home buyer, or not even first time home buyer?
First time home buyer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
I'm
have
gonna
that
say
number,
it's
but I'm gonna guess it's probably
29. I mean,
Mhm.
28.
exactly what I was thinking.
Under 30.
Right at 30. Yeah,
I think the first time I bought a house was like 25.
same. I
25.
was 24.
I was 14.
I was 23.
You're 14.
Hey, I was 23. I was 22. I was 20.
That's cool. No, I was 24.
I bought it for my sister. I didn't go through a realtor.
Ugh,
I
pesky
paid
realtor.
$80,000 for it. And then 3 years, I sold it for like 145. I didn't tell my sister that. I hope you're not watching. But, the market is going to be the market.
Well, and I'll tell you, there's something else that's going on that's pretty cool. So we see some of the smaller, more dynamic lenders and stuff that are able to make some pivots, some cool stuff going on.
Mhm.
So my guy Brian Nail, which by the way I forgot to give him a shout out. Brian Nail, best guy, Premise
I
Mortgage.
love
Y'all
Brian.
know Brian.
I love Brian.
I got to give Rhonda McCrary a shout. Hey, Rhonda.
So
She's good.
Brian he's over there in Belinda Ehrender's office.
Yeah.
And they just rolled out, I think it's called Bounce Back or something. I can't remember what the program's called, but basically it amounts to, if you buy now, you get to take advantage of the softer market. So you can get,
Get what you want.
yeah, you can get all kinds of concessions. You can get closing costs paid, whatever, rate buy down, whatever. But what they've said is, as long as you have that rate for 6 months, and the rates drop, then they will do a refi for you and they'll waive a whole bunch of
Bunch
their
of
Their
fees.
fees.
That's
Mhm.
good.
So it cuts the cost of the refi almost in half. So if you figure a rate drops 2%, 2.5%,
So you're
you make up your money like that.
Oh yeah.
and you're back at
Yeah.
a 5 or whatever.
But the
Mhm.
education isn't there. And how do we educate that 29-year-old, or even later buying your second home, you're trading up? Where does that education? What
I
burden?
think it needs to fall right here.
Well,
it does.
for the realtor,
it does.
yeah.
It does.
They used to have classes for buyers. I don't know if they
Mhm.
still do that.
I
Mhm.
tried that a couple times, never really got much traction with it, but
Mhm.
maybe we could put one on. Bill.
Maybe like a
Let's do one.
podcast about this week in real estate or something.
I just don't think that would work.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We used to go to apartment complexes. Now there's
I
what,
did
100 of
too.
them?
I marketed a lot for mortgage
apartments.
and for real estate. Yeah.
Because those people are like transitioning. A lot of them are
Mhm.
moving here. They've got another job. They don't know if they're going to stay. I mean,
Mhm.
we have some nice apartments here. I mean,
Some really
but
nice apartments.
Expensive.
between
I mean-
between rent an apartment and buying a home, I still think it's cheaper to own than it is to rent.
It is. And you've got the benefit of, there's all kinds of statistical benefits, but it's yours. So if the
Mhm.
market goes up, that growth is yours.
That's right.
The market goes down, the loss is yours. So, there's
Yeah.
always the
And-
counter, but
And sustainability standpoint, you're not going to lose money in real estate. I mean, not here.
not in a short term.
No.
Not in a long term.
Yeah.
You could in a
yes,
short
yes,
term.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely could. And that's where the right questions from a trusted professional,
Mhm.
hey, is the market good right now? Well, let's figure out what good means, because
Mhm.
that's a different word for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right
What
on.
good means to you.
We're still a great area to move to. Murfreesboro, for example, great schools,
Number
Public,
2 schools
private,
in the state,
in the state.
Rutherford County.
You got great mobility. Think about to go to the East Coast or the West Coast, you've got to come through close to Murfreesboro. From the north to the Gulf Coast, you've got to come through Murfreesboro. We got 24, you're close to 65, 40. Used to, you know, if you take a pen and put it in Murfreesboro and draw a line out 500 miles
Radius
like this, you're within a day's drive of 75% of the U.S. population.
Crazy,
Think
huh?
about that.
And that's shifting.
didn't know that.
because,
I didn't know that.
And that's shifting because of the mass exodus off the West Coast right now.
And they're still
It's going to be
here.
more, is my point.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. And really, what started with the California migration was migration,
of 2000.
the Donner Party. What happened was relatives moved here, and then they loved it here.
Yeah,
started raising a family, and then they told Aunt Susie and Uncle, and then they followed. That's part of it.
Yeah.
It's not
You're
just
not gonna believe
people
this
think-
house we
yeah.
got for.
it's not
300
just
grand.
politics. It's a this is a red state or whatever. I don't I don't like talking politics. But anyway, a lot of people say, "Well, I'm moving here because it's a red state." People move here because the cost of living. There's no
state income tax.
state income tax. There's plenty to do. Country music capital of the world. You like
and
blues.
even that's changed. I mean, we're really a music capital of the world.
We are.
Mhm.
You got Nashville. If you like the blues or rock and roll, you go to Memphis. We're close to, close to Atlanta. We're close to St. Louis.
Muscle
We're
Shoals, man.
Muscle Shoals.
Yeah.
But it's really a cool place. I always, growing up here, I can remember when there's only 30,000 people lived here. And it was like a Norman Rockwell town. You see a picture of Norman
Yeah.
Rockwell, the courthouse. You could walk around the square. You knew everybody. Being Mr. Murfreesboro, I should know a lot. I don't know.
You should.
I should, but I don't.
I mean, you have the cupola in your picture.
I do. People think I'm shooting a bird, but man, it's the cupola. I'm giving people the cupola. I'm handing you
There
Murfreesboro.
you go.
My 2-year-old calls him my grandpa. She said that looks like a grandpa.
I'm working on a deal to where the swag can be bought up at the Right Impression. I've got a real cool night light,
Yeah, it's cool.
and it changes colors.
With your face on it.
Yeah, it's cool.
I don't
like
think
that.
I want you watching me sleep, man.
My 2-year-old calls it my grandpa light up.
That is hilarious.
She calls me Gramps, Grandpa.
And I don't know that she's ever even met you in
I don't
person.
think she
It's
has.
hilarious.
That's awesome.
All right, I have a topic.
Okay.
About real estate because it's going to affect real estate. And I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but I'm just starting to throw this out here. And other people are saying, now that you mention it, yeah. So many kids are starting to get married really young. Is anybody else seeing this but me? Like,
Is that the shotgun wedding? Is that
no,
where-
no. And not because they have to.
Mhm.
Not because they have to. In college, getting engaged or right out of college. And I'm seeing tons and tons.
Is that really new
of
though?
this.
Or
Well,
are we just aware of it because of our age
Social
maybe,
media.
maybe,
and social media?
but on social media, but it is new. Like, my generation, it was push off the marriage, push off the kids, do your career. And now I think it's shifting, at least in my little circle of what I'm seeing,
Mhm.
Yeah,
it's shifting.
they're getting younger.
They're getting younger when they're getting married instead of older. Maybe that's another pendulum situation where we're self-correcting that. I
Maybe
don't know.
they're
Could be.
more financially responsible too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always easier to survive on 2 than it is on 1.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm.
Right.
the thing about that is at 22 years old or 23 years old, you have no idea what you're going to do for the rest of your life for the most part. Right.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that on the marriage side of things, but I'm saying that on the buying a home, settling,
Mhm,
all of that stuff. So, for a long time, the concern was that age group coming out with a ton of student loan debt.
Mhm.
Right.
And so,
Pell Grants.
and so having 2 incomes together quickly, maybe they can attack those student loans more
Yeah.
quickly and actually do buy the house at
Mhm.
27,
Right.
28.
Yeah. And you were talking about first time buyers, and no one thinks that 10 years ago, a first time buyer home, say,
$300,000
was actually,
or more.
no, 15 years ago. Let's go.
Yeah.
I can remember when it was 125 to
That's what I'm saying.
200.
Nobody would have predicted
Oh, yeah.
what it is now.
Now it's 300, but I can remember when it was 100 to 200.
Oh, you could buy houses in Laverne for 75 or 80.
Hey, put it on a credit card, right?
Well, and our income has not caught up with that. You know what I mean? Like
Cost of
the
living has
majority.
gone
Yeah.
up. Cost of living. I mean, you go to the grocery store now, y'all. 2 bags, $40. I'm not talking about any meat. I'm talking about toilet paper. Well, I know y'all get toilet paper, right?
Yeah.
Paper towels, whatever. I mean, cost of living has gone up.
But what about the cost of the conventional the conventional mortgage that you can get now and not having to go jumbo is up to what? I can't remember. It's 8 something.
8.17,
It's something like that. It's over 8. Yeah.
Oh, which is crazy when you think
And that's
about
the
it.
mortgage.
Yeah.
So if you're putting 20% down, it's $1 million
it's
home.
over $1 million. Yeah.
And so, and what sort of income do you have to be able to afford that and
Mhm.
qualify for that?
Mhm.
And that's what we're calling average, normal, conventional
Right.
home buying
It's something
here.
I asked Brian that question, and I don't remember.
It's
I'm
crazy.
sorry, Brian, but it was something like $14,000 a month is
Yeah.
what your income has to be, or something.
$14,000 a month to qualify for $1 million.
Mm-hmm. I may be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that. Not a mortgage lender at all, so I don't even have to do
Disclaimer.
I don't even have to
I
do
really
the
don't know what I'm
NMLS thing.
talking
I'm
about.
making this
If
up
you've
as I
got
go.
$14,000, I'll get you a home.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Classic. A classic.
And-
Harmon
and,
Homes
And while
here.
we're at it, but wait, there's more. Act now.
It's called the Chicago turnaround. That's
Yeah.
what we used to call it. No.
Hey, old bait and
Yeah.
switch.
I'll give you a bag of chamois. It'll
Hey.
be great.
Trek's watching this.
Yeah, that's fine. Hi.
Hey, man, you're doing it. Let me give you some. You're doing a great job, man.
Thank you.
You and Trent over there. Is he listening? Does he?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay. Does he want to say anything?
No.
He
Absolutely
said
not.
no.
Thank you for getting in touch with Jonathan and making sure he was okay.
Yes,
man.
yes. I was running a bit late this morning, but
But
But you know-
official predictions, like I want all of us to
Let's
give
get
it so
juicy.
that because one of us will get it right,
All right,
and then
here's
we
my-
can be like,
here's my
yours?
official prediction.
Ooh,
Are you ready?
Yeah.
let's get it.
I think third quarter, in the third quarter, not necessarily by the third quarter, but in the third quarter, I think we'll see rates back into that 5-ish range. Okay. And I think that we will see, because people have been sitting at the 7s for so long, I think we'll see an absolute flurry of activity
Frenzy.
at 5.
Yeah.
mhm.
And I think that the third quarter and fourth quarter this year, I think we'll be busier, maybe even than we
Last
were
year.
last year. Now, will that drive prices up again? I mean, theoretically, yes, right? And I think that for this quarter and second quarter, I think we'll see some. There's always a seasonal bump. You mentioned that,
Right.
right? But I think we'll see some activity. I've already seen it on listings that have been stale for 3 weeks. That I have. They've been
Right.
stale for 3 weeks, and we've got 3 showings, like
Yeah.
as of today.
Right.
You know, so we got through the holidays.
Mhm.
People got it behind them. Rates are what they are. You know, the less that the rate moves, the faster the activity returns. So if people can adjust to, if the rate
Adjustment.
exactly, it's the volatility, it's the change that freaks people out. It's
Right.
going up.
Mhm.
Oh, when's it going to stop?
Mhm.
You know, or it's going down.
It's
Ooh, when's it
fear.
going to stop? Yeah,
Future events appearing real.
that's it.
That's the truth. I think we're going to be fine. March is going to pick up, and I concur with everything you said.
All right. What
Yeah.
do you think?
What do you think?
Great. You
Kelsie.
just threw me, but I was waiting. I
I
was
think we're
gathering
gonna,
my thoughts, and you just went ditto.
so you were going to say ditto.
No, you ditto him.
I dittoed him, but I did say in March it's going to pick up.
You need to keep that thing to yourself. Don't ditto people uninvited.
Uninvited
Con-
dittos.
Consent is important, Bill.
I'm sorry.
Stop diddling, diddling.
I have a nervous tick too.
Great. Okay, luckily I can think fast on the spot. All right, so I'm just going to throw it out there that ditto. No, I'm just kidding.
A
Double
double ditto,
ditto.
triple dog dare.
No,
Come out and fight night.
The wheels are falling off, y'all.
I feel I got to get the crazy train back on track.
That's it.
Great. Okay, so I do agree with what you said. I do agree. I honestly think it's going to happen a little bit faster and sooner because I feel like, just like you said, everybody's just sitting there, just like, come on,
Pent-up
come
demand.
on, both from the real estate side and the buyer side and seller
Mhm,
side. I
mhm.
think that everybody is going to get comfortable with that rate as long as it doesn't jump and shift too much. I think they're going to move the market themselves quicker. I think they are going to jump back on the train, like you're saying, with the first spring day. And right now,
Buttercups.
I do. But I think it's going to happen more quickly. But I do agree with you that it's not going to go bananas. It's not going to just.
What's that big firm that's opening up in downtown Nashville that's creating like 8,000 jobs? What's the name of it?
Oracle.
Yeah. Well, have they started
Thank you,
building?
Trent.
They've already that's going to be a big boost, not only to Nashville but to Middle Tennessee. I think once that gets up and going, you're going to see a big, because real estate's a lot of it's based on jobs. I mean, the
It is.
jobs people
Jobs
got
and
to have
schools.
money to
Jobs in schools. But I mean, there's all kinds of stuff moving. I mean, that's one
of the
many.
big boys.
Yeah. So we could go on and on, but we're actually out of time. So
You already ready to get rid of us already?
no, it's not that. It's just that we're not supposed to go much longer. But
I think it's our time for our tour of Cedar Glade.
I'll take you on a tour.
Yeah, we're like a
No
tour.
problem.
Let me do a knock tour. Knock knock.
Okay, knock knock. Who's there?
Gorilla.
Gorilla who?
Gorilla me a cheese sandwich. I'm hungry.
Oh my word!
We just did that.
Why did I allow that?
That just happened.
Hey Meredith.
He said that just happened.
As promised and delivered, always a fun time with Mr.
Sunday nights at
Murfreesboro
9,
Bill
WGNS, Mr.
and
Murfreesboro
Miss
Show.
Kelsie over there.
I think I might go with Lady K
Lady K.
as
Lady
my
K.
as my voice.
Lady Jane was one of my favorite GI Joe characters.
Lady Jane.
Yeah, but Lady K is I mean,
She
Lady
looks-
Jane makes no sense.
Seeing
to
how
her.
my name's not
You
Jane.
look like you kind of look like Courtney Cox from Friends a little bit.
She's
What
like
does that have to do with
80.
Jane
I don't know.
or
Little
Kay?
Jane, I don't know. I'm just saying. Didn't she play? No, it was Goldie Hawn that played.
No, that
Private.
was Demi Moore.
Oh, Demi Moore. I'm sorry. Good Lord. I'm
No,
losing it.
Goldie Hawn was in a military.
Private Benjamin.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Oh boy.
We're gonna
Good stuff.
let me know the next time.
I'm gonna
y'all.
stop.
Just face-
Let
I'm
me
sorry.
know.
Let's just get out of here.
Just let me
I'm
know when I'm coming
sorry.
back.
It's the rails. We've just gone off the rails.
Again.
Excuse me.
Again.
That was my scene.
Allegedly. Yeah. All right. Well, it's time
All
to
right.
sign this one off.
Peace.
Hey, you guys have a fantastic week. If you need real estate help, call me. You can call him if you want to, but definitely call me instead. And then call our friend Brian Nail over at Premise Mortgage. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of the week.